Hey everyone, welcome back to the Wyoming Knits YouTube channel. My name is Jenny Lee and this is my channel where I like to talk about all the things that I've been knitting on over the past week. Today is Sunday, May 24th, and this is episode 140. You can find me on Instagram as Jenny Lee Knits, and you can find me on Ravelry as Jenny Lee S Knits. And today I'm coming to you from a sunny southwest Wyoming where I live with my husband, our daughter, and our little Yorkie Dax. Last week we did get some snow. We got more snow last Monday than I think we got all winter long. So that was exciting. We showed up to school, or we woke up that Monday morning and there was a blanket of snow. We went to school and the snow continued to fall and it was cold. All the kids were so excited to go out and make snowmans and play on the playground. It was so much fun for them because this was the first real snowfall that they've had all year, and it's May. So pretty sure all of the snow has melted and it's supposed to be 70 degrees today. So it is going to be a fun start to our summer. I have 1 week left of school. I am a first grade teacher here in Southwest Wyoming. We have 1 week left. We have a field trip, we have field day, we have fun activities planned, and then we have a half day on Friday, and that is our last day. So then I will have lots and lots and lots more time to knit on things. I've had a lot of time this weekend. We had Friday off, so I finished some things. You've probably noticed some things that I've finished. I finished some things. I've made some good progress on some other things. Started a new project, but I can't wait until next Saturday when I get to cast on all the things and work on whatever I want to, and I will be on summer vacation. So let's talk about what I am wearing. Right now I am wearing the Jaunty by Andrea Mowry. This is a half fisherman's rib shawl scarf. It was so fun to make. I did end up playing a little bit of yarn chicken. I had to do some rapid decreases before I finished, so the starting end and the ending end do not look as similar as they should, but I will take this off and I will show it to you. I just wrapped it around and then put the ends underneath. So you start out on this side where you cast on your stitches, you do your I-cord edging, you increase, increase, increase until you get to till you get to more than half your yarn is still in your ball. So then you do your decreases and then keep going with the decreases, and I think about right here I said, ooh, I do not think I'm gonna have enough yarn to make it all the way down to the number of stitches you need to cast off. So you did your decrease row every so many rounds, so I took out one round and did a decrease, and then I was thinking, still not gonna work. Still not gonna work. So I did, I might have done every row decrease until I got to where I needed to be. Here is the bag that I was using, and this is all I had left. This is my beginning end where I cast on. So I had this much that I used to weave in and cut off these ends, and then this is all I had left of the decrease side, and I got to the end and woven my ends and cut this little piece off. So I used almost every single little bit and had to do a rapid decrease here at the end. But when you put it on and wear it, if you tuck the ends up under, just like that, nobody will ever know that your two ends do not match. So this will be nice to wear underneath my jacket in the winter time, underneath my coat. It might even be kind of nice to wear, let's see if I can do this, like this, to keep my head slightly warm with my coat on. So when the snow is falling, I can still have something over my head, over my ears, and be covered mostly in the back, but also wear it like this if I need to, up underneath on my neck with my coat on, like this, underneath my jacket if I need to. So this is very versatile. I think it was fun to make. I love the half fisherman's rib stitch. I'm thinking of doing another blanket, either the scrap witchery blanket, which is another half fisherman's rib that's almost exactly like this, or the bits and bobs. And the bits and bobs has you do the same on the right side and the wrong side. So this one you do knit in the row below, purl, knit in the row below, purl all the way across, and then you knit all the way back. So that's the difference between those two blankets. I think I'm going to make another one. I'm probably going to do the scrap witchery one just so I can knit all the way across on the back side. It gives you a rest row. But this is a handspun that I got from a local yarn fiber festival that they had at the library a few years ago. And I saw a booth with a whole bunch of handspun yarn, and I said, ooh, I think I want to get some of that. And so I did, and I didn't know what to make with it for a really, really long time. And then Andrea Mowry came out with this pattern, and I thought, that is perfect. That is the perfect project for this. This was almost 180 grams. So it was 179.5 grams out of my stash for this month. I think I might squeak by even this month, even with buying that new yarn for the honeycomb blanket that I am going to frog and restart in a different yarn. I haven't taken the needles out yet, but that is what I'm going to do on the 1st of June. I'm going to start the yellow honeycomb blanket and the other honeycomb blanket and see if I can get 4 repeats done a day, 2 on each one, and then I will be finished by the end of June, I hope. So the other thing I'm wearing today is my no frills sweater. It was in this bag. I had this much left over of the 3rd skein. Pretty sure I did 3 skeins because 1, 2, I know, 3. I have 3 tags, and I started out with 6, I'm pretty sure, and I have 3 left. I'm using the Scarfie Light in the color Tiger Lily. I could make a whole nother sweater out of this. I'm thinking maybe I will. Not sure yet, so I'm going to leave the yarn in here. But this is the No Frill Sweater by Petite Knit. I knit the 2nd size. I have not washed it yet. Last time you guys saw it, I was about right here on the 2nd sleeve. I finished the 2nd sleeve and bound off. Was it yesterday? I think it was yesterday. Either yesterday or the day before. Could have been Friday. Friday or Saturday, I can't remember. But I think it's going to be nice and warm to wear this fall and this winter. The neckline is a little bit wider than I would like. I like it to set a little more where my finger is. I would love if it came up to there. I'm going to do another Monday sweater and see the differences between the two and see. I think I like the Monday sweater better. I think that's because I do have one Monday sweater in a green and I love that one, so I think I'm going to do another Monday sweater maybe in this one, this Loops and Threads, because it's kind of like the Scarfie, and so I'll do another Monday sweater in this, and then I will decide which one I like better. I did the size 2. This is all knit on a size US size 6 4mm needle, except the ribbing, and that is knit on a size 2, no, size 2.5, 2.75mm needle. All of the ribbing. I did an Italian sewn bind off on all of the edges. You cast on with the cuff, so I did that on all of the bind offs. It does ride up a little bit, and my Monday sweater doesn't do that. My other No Frill sweater also rides up a little bit, and I did make this one longer hoping that it wouldn't do that. So we'll see after I wash it. It's mostly acrylic, so I don't know if I just put it in water and lay it out, if that will actually block anything, or if I need to steam it or throw it in the washer. I'm going to read the care label on the yarn tag and see what the best method is for washing, and then I'll do that. But it's finished. I love like the little, they're not quite micro stripes, but they're chunks of color all the way. I like how it did that. So this is the Petite Knit No Frill sweater. I probably won't make another No Frills, but I'll probably make some other Monday sweaters. And then I have one more finished object. I finished 3 things this week. Mostly because I was almost done with them. I think the Jaunty is the one I had the most work to do to finish it last Sunday. I finished these vanilla socks. This is a stitch in with yarn. Color is beach wedding. And so I did vanilla socks. by the Crazy Sock Lady. She is doing summer sock camp this year. I can't wait to cast on a pair of socks for that. I started with a German twisted cast on the top. I did 64 stitches on a size 0 9-inch circular needle. I did 64 stitches for 20 rounds on the cuff. Then I switched to vanilla. I did 70 rounds for the leg. I did the slip stitch heel flap it calls for in the pattern. Then I did the heel turn, the gusset stitches, and the toe decreases it calls for in the pattern. And I was right here on the first sock last Sunday. So I finished the first sock and the whole second sock this week. We did have a field trip. We went to the aquarium in Draper, Utah, and we got to walk around and see all the things. So I took these on the bus ride with us. It's a 2-hour bus ride down there and a 2-hour bus ride back. I didn't get much work on these on the way there, or even really on the way back. I only did a little bit. And I did not get them out the whole time we were in the aquarium. I usually do. I usually walk around and knit while the kids are looking at things. Because we go every year, I've seen most of the things. So these are finished. They are ready to be gifted. I will be gifting these to one of the ladies that I work with on Thursday before school gets out. And I'm hoping to have one more pair done. So let's talk about works in progress. This is my new cast on. It's living in the same bag that I had those other vanilla socks in. This is a Mountain State Stitches bag. I will have a link to all of my project pages, all of the yarn shops, and all of the bag makers linked in the description box below if you would like to go visit their websites. So this one is a Mountain State Stitches bag. She does small updates and they usually sell out pretty fast. This sock I am using, oh, my tag's right over there. I'm using a Zen Yarn Garden color, excuse me. Zen Yarn Garden is no longer in business. I'm pretty sure their website has been taken down. They retired 2 years ago and I still have some yarn left over. So this is their super fine fingering in the color True Black. And I started a sock for the other person I work with. He is our Title I teacher, and so I wanted to do something not so colorful, but that would stretch and fit. So I cast these on 9-inch circular needles. This is a US size 1. I do most of my socks on a size 0. So I went up a needle size to a size 1 and cast on 64 stitches with a German twisted cast on. I did 20 rounds of 2x2 for the cuff, and then I switched to a 3x1 rib. So I just took pretty much the vanilla socks, and when I got to the vanilla part, I just counted 3 knits, 1 purl, 3 knits, 1 purl, 3 knits, 1 purl, all the way around. So it would still have that rib, so it would stretch and fit. So I'm hoping these will fit. He does not have super wide feet. He has super long feet, but not super wide. US men's size 11. So now I am just on the foot. I chose to do, let's see, 10, 20, 30, 40, 50 rounds for the leg, just so I would have more yarn for the foot, because I have not made a size 11. Yeah, I have not made a size 11 in men's. So I want to make sure that the leg is long enough, so I didn't make the foot is long enough, so I didn't make the leg super long. But I did the slip stitch heel flap in the Manila Socks pattern, and I'll do the toe from there, and I'll just continue to do the ribbed pattern on the top and stockinette on the bottom. So hopefully I have these done by Thursday. So these will be gifted. I will take a picture when I'm finished, so next week I can show you that I did get them finished. When I work on these, they stain my fingers, so the dye just comes off a little bit on my fingers. When I wash my hands really good, it comes off, but you could probably see the little bit of black on my fingernails from that. But once you wash it, they don't really bleed anymore. It just comes off on your hands. There's something to do with the dye and the pH of your hands and your sweat and your just your hands, and the moisture that the dye sometimes rubs off on your hands, and that doesn't necessarily mean that it's going to bleed really bad. You just have to block it in nice cold water. Then the next thing I worked on this a little bit. This is a Sassy Sacks, and this is my daughter's Stria cardigan. I am using Knit Pick Stroll in the color Bear for the white, Serene for the blue, and Strawberry for the red. And I have started the first sleeve. So I did finish the ribbing on the bottom. I did a tubular bind off with the setup rows. So this has a tubular bind off. The cuffs will have tubular bind off. So I was just a couple rows away from doing the bind off last time, and I didn't want to do the bind off before I went to bed that night, so I stopped. I have put in one contrast color stripe, and I am doing the main color. Now you do so many rows of the main color, then your contrast color. In her pattern she has 4 or 5 colors, but my daughter wanted red, white, and blue, and she said she wanted it like this. So she is almost 20. She's 19. She graduated last year. So she's an adult now, and she wants me to make her a sweater. So anything I make me, she can fit into. I just she might be a size smaller than me on some things. So I did do the same size I did for my Stria cardigan because I knew it would fit her. And then as I was looking, I followed the pattern with how many rows you needed, how long between the underarm and the last contrast color, and then I did the ribbing and I bound off, and then I counted the stripes on mine and I added some extra stripes to mine. So hopefully this blocks out a little bit and it's not cropped for her, because I don't think she wanted a cropped version. If not, I can undo and add some more length on the bottom if I need to later. Hopefully before I put the button band on. I'm knitting this on a US size 2.75 millimeter needle. I'm using my Chow mini interchangeable set with the teeny tiny cords. These are not my favorite, but the size 2 will not fit on the regular cords. You have to have the minis. So it just feels super tiny and like you could break it. So worked on this just a little bit. This will get some more work next week. I don't think I'll have the headspace to work on this week after school. With all the fun activities we have going on, I think I'll just need something easy, something relaxing to work on. I'll probably pick up some of my blankets. So I think that was all that I needed to tell you about this. I started it a while ago. I think I started it in November. And it's a half fisherman's rib, so it takes a little bit longer to get through each round. And then I was working last Sunday. I was editing the video last Sunday and I took out my garter stitch blanket and I held it up and I stretched it out and I thought, ooh, this is way too big. It went all the way from this side of my hand to this side and I was like, I just want a throw size. I think that's too wide because I had cast on 180 stitches and I was just going back and forth, and so I ripped it back all the way and recast on, and I only cast on 120 stitches. I think I was thinking to only cast on 100 stitches, but I was doing the long tail cast on and I had some long tail left, so I kept going. So this is my garter stitch blanket. I am making this along with Courtney of Purls of Parmadise. She used a different pattern. She used the Garter Squish by Stephen West, and she's holding the Lion Brand homespun with a thicker, I think she said a worsted weight yarn. I am holding this with a sport weight yarn. So I'm using a size 10 and a half. Yes, US size 10, 6.5 millimeter needle. So I'm using a 10 and a half. I'm holding the homespun yarn with a Bernat Baby sport weight purple, and it's got some sparkle in there. So when I hold it up now, it is not as wide. And so I started over last week. I worked on it for a little while I was editing and while my video was uploading, and then I let myself work on it yesterday for about an hour. I have, when I frogged it, I just took the 2 yarns and wound it in on the ball of the Bernat Sparkle base. I'm pretty sure it's Bernat Baby Sparkle. I've had it since 2006, that purple yarn, and so I wanted to use it. And when Courtney showed hers, that she's holding it with a white acrylic yarn, just some leftovers. She had a few skeins of the white that she had. I think she called it rescue yarn. Someone was getting rid of a whole bunch of yarn and it either was going to go home with her or go in the trash, so she rescued it. So we are kind of doing this together. She started hers and it inspired me, and so this is my Garter Squish blanket inspired by Courtney of Purls of Parmadise. If you do not watch her, you should go over and subscribe to her channel also. She is a librarian. Technically not a librarian. She doesn't have the certification, like the librarian certification, I think, but she does work in the library, so she's a librarian. But this is my garter stitch blanket. I'm hoping I have this little, my mom got me this little, I don't know what it's called, that it sits by my chair. And I have the purple. I had this one and like not a full skein, so that's the not the full skein. Then I had not a full skein of this one, and so that's what I'm working on now. But then I have these two that don't have tags, don't have ball bands, don't have anything. This is not a full skein, and this is not a full skein, and so these will be going in next. And then I think I will do the white and then end with the purple, and hopefully I have enough of the sport yarn that I can finish the whole blanket with just that. If not, I have some other sport yarn that I can add into there, and it probably won't make a big difference. And that is what I worked on this week. I did get one thing in the mail. Let me grab it. Right over here on my table. I got my Mama Jess yarn for April. So it's got this beautiful pink and purple, and then this tonal like light purple that reminds me of lilacs. So this one is the April sock set. I did order the May and June sock set already, so she will be dyeing those up pretty soon. She is doing a sock set, 250 grams and a 20 gram mini for summer sock camp, but every time she puts up a pre-order it sells out, so I have not ordered any of that. I don't think I will this time. I'll just get my monthlies. So let's stick that on the shelf. I already have it in my yarn tracker, my yarn in and my yarn out. If I can knit out 40 more grams this month, I will break even on the yarn I brought in and the yarn I knit out. So that'll be pretty nice. I have lots of bags and totes and boxes with yarn ready to start some new projects, but I keep telling myself you have 7 blankets on the needles and you have ideas for at least 3, 4, 5 more blankets to go on the needles. Let's get some finished before you start any more. And then I have 3 sweater quantities caked up. Not all of the yarn is caked up, but I have 3 sweater quantities caked up in bags, ready to cast on sweaters. I have the one yarn right here that's ready to go whenever I put it in a bag. So I have lots of ideas for this summer. I just have to make it through one more week of school. One more week of school, and then I can do whatever I want. I'll have all the time I need in the day to get a project going. I can start the yoke of a sweater and get that going and be in the round faster. I can set and knit on blankets for a couple hours throughout the day and not just have that chunk of time at the end of the day where I really don't want to pull out anything too complicated. I don't want to have to think about anything, and I don't want rows that are too long that I'm gonna want to stop in the middle, because when I do a blanket like this that has lots of stitches, I don't like to put it down in the middle of the row and be done. I like to finish. There's the dog. I think he sees a cat. But I like to finish the row before I put it down. Somebody might be outside. Sounds like somebody's pulling up. We've had more packages come through Amazon to the house. Like, we have, I guess, private deliveries. Like, they're in their own cars and they go to the distribution center, and then they come drop off things. And so we've had more random cars, and he likes to bark at the random cars. So I think that is everything I had for you today. Remember that the Wyoming yarn crawl starts this week. It starts tomorrow, Labor Day, or Memorial Day through Labor Day. Tomorrow is Memorial Day. I get tomorrow off, so I get one extra day off of work. And I'm gonna pick a project to work on all day, try to get those socks done, and so if you're in Wyoming, go check out some of your local yarn shops. Support the Wyoming Yarn Crawl. If you travel this summer through Wyoming, maybe stop at some of the yarn shops. And until next week, happy knitting.